We really can't let that happen when we have guests. What's up, everybody? Jason here with Joe and Cramser. It is time for a record review. We are talking about the new record from Annie Clark, St. Vincent. The record is called Daddy's Home. Produced by Jack Antonoff. Came out last Friday. It's been out about a week now. Had a little time to give it a few spins. How about you guys?
St. Vincent is tough to rate on first listen, even second listen. I feel like every one of her albums is a grower, but still, this one has a good starting point for me. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I listened a couple times, past couple days, been having it on repeat, and it's interesting. I have some good things and some bad things.
I can kick things off. I've got pretty much all good things to say about it. I think it's excellent. I love the kind of 70s throwback sound, but it's done in a way that it still sounds modern, I think, which is really cool. And surprised to see that this was Jack Antonoff producing. I think that really kind of elevates him in my mind a little. I've always liked his production, but this kind of shows another side to him that I didn't really know he had some of these tricks in his arsenal. And I think it's a great sounding record. I'm leaning pretty heavily on this one. I'm thinking like 4.5 for me.
I agree that mostly good things. I don't have it quite as high. I've got it at 3.5 right now, which is really good. I don't think it's quite great, but I might change my mind later on. I do think it's really interesting, the 70s retro pop sound, kind of a mix of like really funky stuff at time and then some like more classic, like Karen Carpenter style, like singer-songwriting stuff, especially with a song like Somebody Like Me, which might be my favorite on the album. No, it's got to be Down. Down is awesome. I believe that's the big single off it. That one's a lot of fun. Not crazy about the first song, Pay Your Way in Pain. And I think some of the songs kind of get just a little bit cloudy and convoluted, like a little busy. There's just like a little too much going on at times, I think. I think it kind of needs reined in a little bit. But overall, it's really great bass playing on this. Big step away from the really like flashy pop album that was Masseduction. So this one's really interesting. I always compare St. Vincent to Bowie. I think it's kind of like the new Bowie, where everything's kind of got that uniform like glam appeal to it in St. Vincent's own way, but you know, every album's like a shapeshifter. It's very different than the other one. Her idea of songwriting is classic St. Vincent here. Like everything is familiar enough, but never, you know, everything is a twist and turn. There's not a lot of predictable melodies or changes and stuff like that. So always interesting. I think, yeah, it's just a little bit I don't know, maybe a little clunky at times and just a little bit too busy. I do have a lot of songs on here that I really like, especially compared to other St. Vincent songs. Somebody Like Me. Second song, Down and Out Downtown, is great. Living the Dream is great. And this one's cool because it's probably lyrically the one you need to revisit. You don't need to revisit over and over. She's being pretty forward with what this is about, especially with like her idea of not wanting to become a mom is kind of like a main theme on here. And she talks about, I think she says she's going to the park and the other moms don't appreciate that she's in high heels and stuff. So kind of like this voice about defining herself as a woman without having this desire to be a mom. The low point for me on here is My Baby, which just steals or pays homage to My Baby Makes the Morning. And it's a decent song, but it just distracts me from her song and it just makes me think of the other song. And I don't really ever understand that sort of approach. But other than that, yeah, I'm going 3.5. Could be 4 one day. I definitely like it more than probably the debut or Actor, but not as much as peak St. Vincent for me. So it's probably in the middle of her discography. Really good.
Well, it's interesting. I'm in the middle as usual, but I'm actually going backwards. The first time I heard this, I was like, wow, this is 4.5 star runaway album of the year candidate. The more I listen to it, the less it hits for me, and I don't know why. I think it's because of Jack Antonoff, and I know Jason appreciates and likes this version of him, the sort of, not really Jack Antonoff production style. And I like that because I don't really like him that much. And I think he's sort of brings the same thing to every album he produces. So it's good to see him not get in the way of St. Vincent on this. And I think she's probably still, the guiding force here. But I don't know. There's something missing, I think, from like the 70s homage pastiche. Like it's almost 70s, but I feel like it's a little too tame. Like I need somebody other than Jack Antonoff playing guitar and bass and, the little extra things. I want, give me a Larry Carlton with a blazing sick guitar solo or something just to break it up a little bit. Like I like the sound. I love the 70s. I like the sitar guitar stuff that they do all over this, especially on Down. The female backing vocals, the funky grooves, but I just don't know if the playing itself is like as good as I want it to be with like a 70s throwback. Like I'm wanting a little bit more. I know you said you liked the bass, Cramser. I barely noticed it. So I wanted a little more prolificness from the instruments on here. I think St. Vincent's vocals are good. I think the songwriting's good. Some catchy songs on here. There's no songs I don't like. And I like the way, especially on the title track, that she keeps her like that modular synth in the background. So you know it's St. Vincent. That kind of disappears a little bit. And maybe it gets a little too like deep down into that 70s-ness. I want a little more St. Vincent, I think, like the classic St. Vincent sound. Or I want like super 70s Steely Dan style guitar solos, Wayne Shorter on sax, like something like really prolific. So I like it. It's 4 stars. It's still good. And it's definitely one that I'll keep listening to maybe see if I like it more or less the more I listen to it. I don't know. I keep going in these opposite ways, but I think it kind of channels the 70s in a nice way. There's some Joni Mitchell and some John Lennon. Melting the Sun reminds me of like Stevie Wonder meeting John Lennon. Living the Dream kind of has like a Pink Floyd vibe. Cramser said David Bowie, St. Vincent, sort of, the modern David Bowie. Well, she channels that perfectly when she sings Pain, just like Fame on the title track. Maybe too overt of homage there, but I think it works. The album, it's got that St. Vincent-ness, and her vocals still sound modern. Everything may sound 70s, but she still sounds very modern. I think she never gets lost in the 70s-ness of it. So I like that. Maybe a little more of that like futuristic modular synth would be nice. And maybe if Jack Antonoff wasn't there, I'm very mixed on him. So I don't know. I don't know how much he actually contributed as far as like the direction and the sound. Maybe bring on somebody like a jazz pianist or somebody cool like that to add a little more texture than just Jack Antonoff playing a bunch of instruments. So 4 stars for me. I like it. I think it's still actually my highest rated album of the year. So despite my sort of not liking it quite as much as I did first listen, it's still in the running definitely for album of the year.
I can kind of see what you're saying about maybe wanting like some monster players on the record, but I don't know. For me, I was surprised at how not funky the album was. I mean, there's a few cuts that are pretty funky, like Down and the first song, Pay Your Way in Pain. But I was kind of surprised at how much space there is on the record and how many slow burners there are. Like there's a good chunk of the record, like multiple tracks in a row that are pretty slow and kind of take their time. And so in that case, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about having a sick guitar solo or like some crazy bass line. So I think most of the record is perfectly fine the way it is. But yeah, I also get your point and can see that as well.
I did make a note of, I love the big, just like transcending guitar solo in Live in the Dream. The one with kind of like a Pink Floyd vibe. It's got that lazy, jazzy, you know, like Us and Them from Dark Side, kind of steady, just forward moving. And he's doing some really nice stuff. I don't know if it's that I want more virtuosic playing, but, and I know I said I thought that some of the ideas just needed reined in a little bit and that it felt busy. But I think Jason's right. There's a little too much slow stuff chunked together. I feel like the album's just missing like a big emotional burst. Like it never really, you never get the fireworks that you usually get on like a really good St. Vincent album where you're just like really into it and then it can kind of calm down from there. Not necessarily a faster song, but I don't think there's a big, heavy emotional explosion on this, which I think it kind of needs.
So what do you like less? My Baby Wants a Baby or Weezer's Blue Dreams interpolating Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train?
Are you serious? I like this one much more. much more. That I was so pissed in that Weezer album when it just started doing Crazy Train on a song.
Yeah, this one doesn't bother me at all. I like it. I like that track.
You guys, Cramser said it was like his middle of the pack for St. Vincent. I would say this is my second favorite. St. Vincent pretty much locked in. Even if it drops or rises, it's not going to be ahead of the self-titled, and it's not going to drop down below Actor or Masseduction.
This is easily my favorite St. Vincent record, even ahead of the self-titled, which was previously my favorite. I like it a lot, and I think I'm going to keep liking it more and more. And right now, it's my third favorite of the year. So it's up there. But if you've heard the record, let us know what you think of it. Drop it down in the comments. Be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. Hit the bell for notifications and check the description for links to all of our social media and to our website that currently has almost nothing on it. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you in the next video.